Welcome back, everyone, to Milk and Honeys. We are your hosts, Kayla Becker, and I'm sitting next to the lovely
Vanessa Curry.
I do that for every week, right? I kind of tease if I'm going to say it or if you're going to say it.
And I was waiting for you to say it, but I'm going to say it. Vanessa Curry, hi.
Well, we have another guest in the studio today, someone that you've known for quite some time, a good friend of yours, someone I'm getting to know.
We are diving into a very inspirational conversation with the multifaceted Jamie Lee Ruiz today.
And you have, you've done a lot in your career. You've danced alongside artists like Becky G, Tyga, Chris Brown, Christina Aguilera, Pitbull, and then I believe you hit the Super Bowl stage with J-Lo back in, 2020?
Yes, I did.
That's wild.
And now she is taking a powerful pivot into becoming an intuitive life coach, and she is manifesting with big magic, big love. You're just so inspirational, and I'm so excited to welcome Jamie Lee Ruiz to the pod, everyone.
Yay! Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I love that you guys are doing this, and I'm just so happy to be a part of it.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Well, yeah, we like to bring people on who can be inspiring, and that's kind of the point of this entire show is to bring, I guess, experts in their fields to kind of open up the reality of what it is that you do. And I want to hear a little bit about y'all's story, though, and how y'all became friends.
I think it was back in 2009 we met. I think that was the year that we met.
I'm really bad with time, but if you say 2009, then I'm going to go with that.
Yeah. And Jamie and I, we met because we were doing Pussycat Dolls. They were redoing the group, and her and I were chosen to be a part of that new group. And I'll never forget, she was waiting on the sidewalk. We were like going to our first fitting, and there she was, and she was like, "You must be Vanessa." And I was like, "You must be Jamie," because we kind of knew each other's names but not each other. And we just looked at each other, we took a deep breath, and we were like, all right, let's go do this, I guess, this
like random new adventure that we were becoming a part of. But also I think like you said to me earlier today that that's like a memorable moment for you, and it is for me too, because I feel like you're a super close friend of mine and a super special friend. And like that moment, I think we knew that we were going to be really good friends, and just like meeting on the sidewalk outside on like La Cienega.
Yep. Oh yes, I remember. Right in front of Agent Provocateur, I think is where it was. Exactly.
Now, the two of you both having this dance past, though, Jamie. Like, what's like the origin story, I guess we can say, of
of my dance background?
Your dance background.
Sure. I always say I've been dancing since I came out the womb. Literally, like 3 years old, my mom put me in tap, jazz, gymnastics, acro, ballet, all the things. And I just always loved it. I did gymnastics as well. And so actually when I was 7, I was doing both dance and gymnastics. My mom told me that I had to pick one because they were both too expensive. So I picked gymnastics that I hadn't been doing for a long time, but I always missed dance. So when it came time for high school, I auditioned to go to performing arts high school so that I could dance at school so that my mom wouldn't have to like pay for two things. So then that brought dance back around. And so I danced 2 hours every day in school for the performing arts program. And then I danced an hour every day after school for dance team. Then I went and did gymnastics for like 3.5 hours after that. Whew. I was just doing the most. But after high school, I auditioned to be a Miami Heat dancer because I'm from Miami, born and raised. So I danced for the Miami Heat for 5 years. And then from there, I made my journey to LA.
What do you think gave you that work ethic, especially starting so young and wanting to balance dance and gymnastics, which one individually is a huge undertaking on its own? Where do you think you picked that up from?
That's a good question. I think it's just like when it's all you know, it's like it's all you know and all you want to do. And I guess I could thank my parents for that, for like putting me in so many sports and so many different things at such a young age. I didn't really have a desire to like hang out with friends and do regular kid things because I was like, I'm going to dance. I'm going to gymnastics. And I loved it so much that I didn't really want to be anywhere else. It wasn't until high school that I was like, boys.
Where have y'all been this whole time?
I'm like drinking.
Like, what is this?
I was like, fuck this. I'm going to do that.
I mean, kept you out of trouble for a little bit.
Yeah. And I mean, look, at the end of the day too, when you moved here, I mean, I know this is like kind of like fast forward, you had such a beautiful dance journey. And in 2020, was like, I know how much of a memorable moment this was for you to perform with J-Lo at Super Bowl 2020. And wasn't it in Miami. Yes.
And I love saying the fact that I just met you like recently that I can say, oh my God, then I definitely have seen you perform.
Yes.
The amount of people who can say, oh my God, that was one of the most iconic performances in Super Bowl history.
Yes. People say that. They do say that all the time. They're like, I watched you. I watched that performance.
And how does that, so I know you started your intuitive coaching, you know, a little bit after that. Mm-hmm. But that is something, do you ever think about that you did manifest that even before you were a manifestation, coach, professional? You know what I mean? Like, how does that feel? Like, how did you feel when you were in that moment? What was it like being on stage? Do you even remember it? Because sometimes I feel like we're on stage or, you know, you're live television and I'm like, how did it go? Did I do okay? Because I don't remember, but I think I did good, you know? Totally. So what was that like?
Actually, that whole experience was like, I would say, honestly, it was like the peak of my dance career. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, because right after that, COVID happened and that was the end of my dance career. Wow. But it was like the peak of my dance career, the highlight of my dance career. I even remember being like, afterwards when the world shut down, I was like, honestly, I went out with a bang. Like, I couldn't ask for a better way to go out, but it was just like everything I had been manifesting to perform with J-Lo, who's like the Latina queen. You know what I mean? I'm Latina. I'm from Miami. It was in Miami. It just felt like so in alignment. And I absolutely manifested that situation. I had been wanting to dance for J-Lo for a really long time. I had been wanting to dance in the Super Bowl for a really long time. I think as a professional dancer, Super Bowl is your your bucket list. It's like Super Bowl as a football player is also Super Bowl as a dancer.
Yep.
So I was really present through that. I also was like, not my full healed self.
For sure.
So there was a lot of like partying and drinking throughout that time as well, which makes it a little blurry. But I was present in the sense that I was really aware of how amazing it was and how special it was and how grateful I was to be there when that doesn't happen on all jobs. It's right. It happens in hindsight a lot where you're like, oh my God, I wish I would have been more present. But I have no regrets because I was in it.
What was that call like when you found out that you were going to have that opportunity? Like, walk me through that.
So the choreographer for that performance was Paris Goebel, who's like iconic choreographer. And just to bring this full circle really quick, now that I'm a life coach, Paris Goebel is one of my clients.
Wow.
Which is amazing.
I have chills at the full circle of that right now.
The synergy of it all.
Yeah. But she is also like a bucket list for professional dancers. Like, you want to work for Paris Goebel. She's like iconic choreographer. And I had worked with her once years back when I was dancing on tour with Pitbull. We brought her in as a guest choreographer to choreograph one of the numbers. But she had never hired me. She came in, we hired her, you know? So after that, I was like, ooh, like, I hope she hires me for something. And she did. She ended up hiring me for the Yummy music video, Justin Bieber Yummy. I don't know if you remember the video.
Iconic.
But we all had like...
you not remember that video?
We all had pink hair in the video. I remember I dyed my hair pink for this. I was like, Paris Goebel wants me to dye my hair pink?
Yes.
Okay.
Say less. Done.
Yep. I had been blonde my whole life and I felt insane, but I was like, F it, we're doing this. Also, can I curse here? Because
I can beep it out.
Yeah. If we need to, but I've
been beeping my own self out, so you're fine.
I'm
a potty mouth.
Curse.
It's my favorite. What's your favorite cuss word? Okay.
I knew that. I love that. We all have the same.
All have the same one.
It feels so
It's just like, it's like orgasmic. Just
it is literally.
It is orgasmic.
It is.
To throw a couple F-bombs.
I just love it.
I feel like
you're
it's
good.
healing and everyone should do it.
Yep.
Anywho, so she hired me for that video and I was like, oh my God, like I manifested it, Paris Goebel, whatever. There was also like, I felt like 100 girls on that job. Still, I don't care. My foot was in the door. And then I remember there was a lot of chatter on that job in rehearsals and on set of being like, oh, Paris is doing Super Bowl for J-Lo. Like, I'm doing it. Did you get the call? Did you get put on hold? Did you get asked? And I was like, no. But I kept hearing every day someone new would come in and be like, I got asked. I got asked. And I was like, I'm like, God, please. Like, if there was ever something, you know, then you're also on the job, like trying to be the best freaking dancer because she's watching you and she's booking dancers for the Super Bowl. And I remember that like the whole job went by and I didn't get asked, but like the job was over, and then I got an email and I got asked, and I was like, okay. But I just got asked my availability. I didn't get booked. And I'm just like, okay.
We're almost there. We get it.
We're in. We're in. Bit. Then I started hearing people getting booked. Friends were telling me, like, I'm booked. I'm going to Miami this day. And I'm like, I'm not booked. The job started. People went to Miami and started the rehearsal process. And I still.
So at this point, you thought, I didn't get it.
But I didn't get released and I didn't get booked. I'm just like, floating.
Waiting.
Because sometimes you don't get released. So I just didn't know. But I was holding on to that manifestation and that vision of me doing this. I was like, I just felt it in my bones that it was for me and that it was going to happen regardless of like what was happening externally. And I just kept holding the vision. And then it was like Christmas break. They were like, hey, we need to add 2 girls. Like, are you still available? I have chills right now. I'm like, yes, absolutely.
When do I fly out?
Like, sign me up. My bag is already packed. And so, yes, I manifested that. And you asked what the feeling was of that process. It was like nerve-wracking, but like exciting. Yeah. And I think that that's manifestation in general is like nerve-wracking. Like, is it going to happen? And then you have to shift into this excitement of like, it is going to happen. And I'm going to be excited because I just know and believe that it's coming for me. And that's the energy that I was in. And I think that that's why I attracted it to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that happened for you, like you said, right before the world shut down, and you were able to experience something that was probably at the tip top of your bucket list.
Totally.
And so I was going to ask what the internal signs you know that you felt knowing that it was time to make the change, but I think the world did help you to make that decision. But even when that did happen, and you know you thought that maybe dance is about to move into the rear view mirror. How are you feeling, processing all of that, knowing that your life's about to take this drastic change away from anything else that you've done?
Yeah, this is a story. This is like a story. But so as the world is shutting down and everyone's like, what are you going to do? What are you doing? What's the plan? I literally like gave up my apartment. I put things in storage and I was like, oh, let's go back a second. After the Super Bowl, I was on a high. I actually booked my second dream job, which was to dance for Major Lazer. I don't know if you know who they are, but Diplo and two other guys are like a group. In dancer world, as a female dancer, like the dancers for Major Lazer are called the Laser Gals, and they're like the epitome. You want to be a laser gal. Everyone wants to be a laser gal. And another thing that I was manifesting, but I didn't think that it was going to happen for me because I was always blonde and there was already a blonde on there. But then I had pink hair because of the music video. And put it out of my head. But as soon as the Super Bowl was over, I'm on this high. I get an email like, are you available to come to back to LA and audition for Major Lazer, a private audition? I'm like, universe, like, you're really giving it to me. 2020 is really something.
2020 is my year.
It's
You're
my
already
year.
feeling it.
2020 is my year. You can't tell me nothing. I'm like, J-Lo and Major Lazer, this is crazy. So I go back to LA, I audition, I book it. I'm like, wow. I manifested this too. And I'm like, it's the pink hair. The pink hair opened the door for me to get in there, whatever. I book it. We do a whole week's worth of rehearsals to learn the show. And we have dates booked through the entire year. Mind you, this is like February?
Yeah.
Super Bowl's in February. And we have dates booked through the whole year, like Tomorrowland, like all these festivals around the world, like Ultra in Miami. And I'm just like, this is going to be the most lit year of my life. I'm on the high of all highs. And right after we learned the whole show, the pandemic happened. And little by little, we started getting emails like, this show is canceled, this show's canceled, this show's canceled, this one's still on hold, don't worry, blah, 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 whatever. So ironically enough, our first show for Major Lazer was supposed to be Ultra in Miami. So I had a flight to go to Miami. So when the world starts shutting down and all the shows get canceled, I literally was like, leases up, putting my stuff in storage, getting out of here. And I was like, can you not cancel my flight to Miami? I'm going to Miami. They were like, sure, you can have the flight. I go to Miami. I stay with my sister and my brother-in-law in my sister's home. They have a spare bedroom, so I have like my own room there. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Like 2 weeks, have fun, you know?
Oh my gosh, 2 weeks. Could you imagine?
We're drinking up a storm. We're having Zoom happy hours with friends.
We were doing like videos of everyone where everyone was like in a box. And we're like, you look up and then you look to the right. And we're just all having wine and all
passing
the things.
each other the makeup brush.
Yes.
Videos, all of that. We're doing all of that. It's the best time ever. And then 2 weeks turns into 3, turns into a month, turns into, okay, like this is going to be longer than we thought. And I'll basically give it to you like this. I'm realizing that I have nowhere to go, nothing to do, and I'm forced to literally just sit with myself and my feelings and like the uncomfortable truths of myself that I had like been so distracted from before. Like my whole life was like dance, tour, show, travel with all these artists, and now I'm like sitting in one place, and everything that I had like suppressed was like flooding to the surface. I say it all the time, but I'm like, it was like I could throw up with the discomfort that I was feeling of like the truths of what I felt about myself. And I had no choice but to like look at it and sit with it. And so I put myself through what I like to call a self-love boot camp, because I realized like, ooh, all these feelings are literally telling me that I don't love myself, or that I don't have a healthy relationship with myself. And I'm thinking all these terrible things of myself. I have nothing to do but sit with it, look at it, feel it, accept it, love it. And I had a life coach at that time. I had recently hired a life coach, and she was helping me through this process. And she told me to get this book called Mirror Work. And it's about literally looking in the mirror and like learning to like yourself, learning to love yourself, sitting with the discomfort and just like owning it instead of like shying away from it.
And that is really hard, by the way.
So hard.
I got that book after she got it. And to look at yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself, and you have to be honest.
Like actually honest.
Not
honest. Fake honest. Like
no.
That's what I was learning in that I was realizing that like all the hair and makeup and show and performance and being the hot girl on the jobs, like that was my fake confidence my whole life. I didn't have to ever create real, true confidence of knowing myself, because all of that was always there, and that was all gone. Like my pink hair was now grown out to here. My extensions, like nails, no lashes, gone. Like no need to put on makeup. It's just me at my core, and I'm like, cringe, uncomfortable. And so I put myself through self-love boot camp, learned to love myself, and it wasn't just like cool, done, we love ourselves. It's to this day I'm still doing it, but I call it a boot camp because I really that's all I did for like a month. That when I came out of that, I was like, whoa, this is crazy. I'm really learning to love myself. And I can only imagine how many people out there are feeling the same thing, right? And so in the midst of like, where's my dance career? Where's the next dollar coming from? What is life?
Yeah.
What is the life I've always known? And also like learning a new version of myself and a new relationship with myself that I've never had.
And like you're just having your new identity, this identity that you've had since you were a child, which you are a dancer.
Yes.
And now you have to figure out who am I?
Who am I without dance?
Yeah.
And there's like this really like void area when it's like you're releasing your old self, but you're not your new self yet. You're like, I'm no one. I'm nothing. I'm floating. I'm blowing in the wind.
You got through your boot camp and you started realizing, okay, there's more to life than who I was. I have so much more. What were you seeing in yourself that gave you hope that
was
you
there
could
a moment?
find this next?
Yeah. So previous to that, I think like in the year or two or a couple of years before that, my dad had passed away. And so that had, okay, thank you. That had sparked something in me already to start searching and discovering and like finding mindfulness and finding spirituality and finding peace with loss and grief and all of that. So that had already led me on my like personal development journey and spiritual journey. But again, like because I was so distracted with like, you know, that like Lady Gaga meme that's like bus, tour, other show, next show. That was my life.
It's the fast pace.
Literally. That I was healing, but I was healing like as much as I could with like, you do a show, then after the show, you go out and you drink.
Yep.
And then you go home, you sleep 2 hours, you get up, you go on an airplane, you go to the next show, you take a nap, you do the show, you get home, you have 3 days off. All you want to do is sleep, laundry, pack, repeat. It's like, how much was I actually sitting with myself? So I was like on the journey, but like surface level, I guess you could say, because I didn't have this time and space to really do it. And so I knew for a while that I liked this like personal development world, and I liked the spirituality aspect of things, and I liked healing, and I liked that. And I knew I would always say to myself, like, this is cool. Like, this is something I could do after dance, you know? And then I had gotten the life coach, and I was like, that's cool what she's doing. That like, that's so cool what she's doing for me. Like, I could see myself doing that one day now that I know what it looks like and that there's a job for that, you know? But again, I always thought it was like after dance. It felt very, very, very far away.
Yeah, who knew at that point when after dance would be? It could have gone another 20 years. And so you were forced in to this new phase of your life, and clearly you have embraced it to the fullest. You seem very happy and excited about this phase of your life. I would assume you would define success very differently now, though, than you did then, too. Success then, Major Lazer, J-Lo, Pitbull.
Yep.
Now, helping other people, discover their true purpose.
Totally. And not only that, but like success to me is like, I think my accolades before were like Super Bowl with J-Lo, Chris Brown music video, Justin Bieber music video, dancing on tour with Pitbull, dancing for Becky G. Like, those are my accolades. My accolades now are like learning to love myself, healing from insecurities, setting boundaries in relationships. Like that is success to me. Like beyond any dance accolade success that anybody can point out for me.
I know that you live in a space that is very, very sentimental to you, and like that's very important to you. And I know you've moved a couple times to find that space, and I feel like now you're home, you can see it, how comfortable you are in that space. And I know that that's also like a huge success for you. You plan putting your TV on your wall. You know, like she's like I'd never done that.
By yourself?
Well, no.
I paid for someone to come put my TV on my wall, but like I had always been the girl that just like puts it on the thing.
Yeah.
You know? And I felt like this is a very big girl of me in this big girl home. I'm like, success.
Yeah.
Like I love myself. I love who I'm becoming. I love my life. I love the power that I feel in creating my life. I love that I'm able to help other people feel that way. I love the possibilities that are an option for me. Like that is success to me. And not to say that the dance things are not, but it's just success looks different now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. When did you know that this was like your calling?
So in that time, pandemic time, and I'm putting myself through self-love bootcamp, dance is non-existent. I literally had that moment where I was like, I know I had been saying that like the spiritual life coaching thing was after dance, but I think after dance is literally today. It was like, I felt like my back was against the wall and I was looking around and I was like, after dance is right now. Like, oh my God. I didn't think it was going to come this fast, and it did. And so I was really practicing my intuition at that time and just like listening to like the divine downloads that I was getting and listening to what my soul was telling me, my heart was telling me, my body was telling me. And it was just a very clear message, like everything you've just put yourself through, your self-love bootcamp, everything that your life coach has helped you with, all of these things, you need to go help people do that. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, what do you mean? I'm just tapping into this. And it was like, no, this is what you need to do. So I took inspired action on that very scary, non-logical step that was being presented to me. And I'll never forget it. I made like a little Canva flyer. I don't even know if it was on Canva, to be honest. It could have been just straight on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was
whatever
like,
it takes.
I was like, now offering one-on-one life coaching sessions. If you want help with any of these things, I said like mindset, manifestation, self-love, intuition, personal power, whatever, who knows what I put on there. I was like, DM me. I posted it. I threw my phone across the room and I was like, like what have I done?
Was that, do you think, the hardest part about letting go of Jamie the dancer? Right? Like you were known, that's it. Like, Jamie, you are a dancer. This is it. She's done everything that she's wanted to do. And now you're back up against the wall and you're like, oh, okay, I have to just put it out. And I'm sure if you look at it right now, you'd be like, what the actual was that, you know? But
God, I'm gonna do so much editing this episode.
I know, sorry, Kayla.
Kidding, I'm just kidding.
Sorry,
I'm totally kidding.
What the actual F? Okay.
I'm kidding. Keep going.
Just a bunch of beeps. People are like, what did you actually say in that episode? All I heard was beep. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. But yeah, like, would you say, like, what was the hardest part for you? Because or was that the hardest part? Like, to put that flyer out there and you chuck your phone across the room and you're like, this is
no
it.
takebacks.
Yeah, that was scary for many reasons because I was following my intuition instead of my logical mind, which I had done my whole life, you know, and now I know that logic limits you, you know, it's like you think this is what you're supposed to do because you've been told this is the right thing, blah, 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 whatever. And it's like intuition is always guiding you to your best and highest self. So even if it doesn't make sense, like even if my desires don't make sense, like what I want for my life, it doesn't matter. It's there for a reason. Same way this action step was gifted to me for a reason. I just knew that I had to do it. It was like, I couldn't not do it. I had to do it as scary as it was. So I did it. But then the next scary step was like, what are people going to think of me? Are they going to take me serious? All they've really known me for is dance, but not only dance, but like shaking my ass.
Yep.
Dance.
Which we
like
love.
Twerking dance.
yes.
Like with my ass out.
But then people have their certain opinions and judgmental, like, how you've had your ass out. Why should be listening to you?
How can you help me
Exactly.
change my life?
Yeah.
All you do is shake your ass on Instagram and on stages. It's like, who are you to tell me how to heal myself, how to change my life? And so I had to grapple with that own identity of myself and finding, at first I felt like I had to remove that identity, become this life coach. And then it was like, no, that is me. And that is what led me here. And I think now I'm a physical manifestation of the integration of both of those. And
Absolutely.
the real amazing, like, turning part was when like I had a client that hired me and was like, you know, someone asked me what I was doing later. This is my client. And I told them like, oh, I have a life coaching session. They're like, oh, like, what's that like? How is that different than therapy? And she was like, does your therapist dance and twerk her ass on stage with Tyga and Major Lazer? She's like, that's why I'm here. And I was like, whoa.
Yep.
Whoa. I have chills because it's just like every version of you like leads to the version of you that you're supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Was that the moment that you got off that call and you're like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? And this whole journey of my dance career has brought me here because you do a lot of manifestation and life coaching for people in the dance industry. I would help navigate that because the dance industry is hard, man. I mean, this whole industry is hard, right? But it's like the dance industry, it's like, it's very close knit. It's very small. And there's a lot to navigate.
You probably get pigeonholed into, like you said, being the dancer who's on the stage shaking their ass. And so to be able to cross over to something like this that, you know, people look at you and rely on you for guidance. I can imagine that's very hard.
It's very hard. And it took me a long time to notice it. But there was a moment where I looked back and I was like, 90% of my clients are dancers or choreographers or in this industry or have been in the industry at some point in their lives. I was like, whoa, I'm doing something here. Like I'm being like the mindset, manifestation, healing coach that I wish I would have had when I was in the industry that would help me navigate that aspect of it. And that was really, I'll say freaking cool. So you don't have to
I'm still going to put a beep over it so people just think. I do, for the rest of the episode, I do want to maybe get like, you know, maybe we can get some free professional, you know, guidance from you.
Like you want me to teach you how to twerk?
Yeah. That will be on our Patreon.
We'll have another like site that you can go to, and we'll be shaking, twerking.
I am half black, okay, and I have the lower half of my body that should be able to move. I cannot twerk, cannot shake it, cannot. But yeah, maybe y'all can teach me on another. You talk about manifestation quite a bit, and so what does that practice look like? We've heard about how it had worked in your personal life, but when you are talking to someone who needs help on manifestation, what does that look like in your coaching?
Do you want me to give you like the steps?
Sure.
Like,
yes.
My steps. Because here's the thing, I do like logic, and I am a Virgo, and I'm a Virgo Taurus. So I'm very earth grounded, perfectionist, need steps, rules, directions. I am very much that, but I also have like this intuitive, witchy, flowy side of me. So I love steps, you know what I mean? And I think that I need that in manifestation. I can't just like visualize and like hope it prays, it comes to me. Like that doesn't work for me. I need, so I'm gonna give them to you guys.
Please do.
Okay. So step 1 is tuning into your desire. What the do you want? Like, what do you want? You know, and not just like what you think you want, what people have told you you've wanted, or like what's been presented as possible for you. But like, if you really tune into your heart, everybody has unique desires that have been placed in there by, and I'm going to say God, source, universe, whatever you believe to be true as a higher power for you, has placed a desire in your heart like you came onto this earth with this like divine assignment, like a blueprint, navigation of what you're supposed to create and have in this lifetime. So if you can connect to what that is, figure that out, like truly, that's step one, right? Step two is going like, okay, what thoughts do I have? What beliefs do I have around this desire that maybe are limiting me? I call them limiting beliefs. Like, what do I believe? Okay, when I think of my desire and what I want, and that's so exciting, the next thing is usually this like cringy, like, but I'll never have it because of X, Y, Z, or like, I'm not good enough for that, or what will this person say, or am I good? Like, am I worthy of having that? Whatever. Some of them are conscious, and some of them are like super subconscious that we have to really work to get to. But if you could literally write all of those down of like, what do you believe around having this desire? What do you believe to be true? And that could be good or that could be bad. And then asking yourself, right? Like looking at the limiting beliefs, like the things that tell you can't have it. This is like a really important step, is asking yourself, like, is that limiting belief the ultimate truth? Like, is it written in a Bible and the stars in the sky? Did a wizard come down and condemn you and say, that is your truth forever, can't have it. You'll never have it. Is it the ultimate truth? Is it like written in like the walls with like hieroglyphics with like a wood palette, you know, forever? Is this it? And the answer is always no. It's not the ultimate truth. It's just what you're believing based on your past or based on what you've experienced or what you've been taught or trauma or what your parents have taught you. You believe that to be true, and you've given that truth so much momentum that is your truth, right? But it's not the ultimate truth. So there's power in that. If it's not the ultimate truth, then I get to decide what is true for me, and I get to look at it and go, okay, if you're not the ultimate truth, what do I want my truth to be? What do I want to believe instead, right? What would feel so good to believe about my desire, and what would make me like an energetic match for my desire? I like to say, like, if you were someone that did have that desire, if you had already manifested it, what did you need to believe in order to have it? Or what do you believe about yourself, about that dream, about that goal, about the desire? What do you need to believe in order to attract it? Because law of attraction says, like, what you think, what you believe, who you be is what you attract. So if I want to be a millionaire, but I believe that money is hard to come by, and these are my beliefs around money, right? It's hard to make money. Other people make money, but not me. If those are my beliefs, then I'm not an energetic match to be a millionaire. So I have to look at those and I have to go, okay, that's not the ultimate truth. That's just, you know, I grew up with not a lot of money, so no wonder. Okay, what do I want to believe instead? And this is also an important part, because you can't just go, I'm going to believe that I'm a millionaire, that I am going to be a millionaire, that, you know, it's easy to be a millionaire. That sometimes feels too far away from where you're currently at. So you have to do these like
the steps,
baby steps of shifting your beliefs. So if right now I feel broke as fuck,
just keep going.
You guys just fuck. You know what it is. You know where you're at. You know what room you're in.
I'm sorry, Mom. Okay, my mom's shaking her head right now.
If you feel broke as fuck and you really believe that money is hard to come by, you can't switch and be like, money is so easy to me. That's too far away for your nervous system to get around it, for you to believe it, for you to identify with. So you have to shift into like, okay, I'm willing to believe something different around money. How about that? Like, how about just a willing to believe something else? I'm willing to believe something different around money. I'm shifting into believing that money can be easy for me. You know, like these little like bridge affirmations that baby step your way. And, you know, once you can believe that you're willing to believe something different and that feels good for you, then you can be like, I'm starting to feel that money is easier to come by. Or, you know, I'm open to seeing how easy money can be for me. I'm open to seeing that. Then you leave the possibility for like the universe to bring that to you. Anyways, you got to baby step your way into these new beliefs.
And I know you speak a lot about gratitude in those steps, because remember, the steps are not easy.
No.
And we a lot of times want those steps to be easy, and then when we find out that they're hard, we give up, or the consistency. Like for me, I struggle with consistency in my own beliefs, but I know that you always talk about having that gratitude. Why do you think having gratitude is so important while you're making these steps, even if they're not?
Yeah.
Maybe you make one step forward, but then like you go 2 steps back, and you're like, how do I still have gratitude, even though I feel like I'm falling behind?
So I'll say that because the universe is built on the law of attraction. If the more gratitude you can have, the more you're a match for things to be grateful for. If I can live in a state of gratitude, the universe is always matching me going, she's so grateful for what she has. Let me give her more to be grateful for. Let me give her more. But if you're ungrateful, you're like, ugh, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. The universe is going, oh, she doesn't have enough. Let me give her more of, I don't have enough. So gratitude is super important, even when you don't fully have your desires, because you need to create the sustainability of like being able to hold where you're at and what you're asking for. So I like to say, like, you know, a person walking, right? It's like 1 foot down, 1 foot in the air, 1 foot down, 1 foot in the air. So you always want to have like the foot that's down is like the foot that's in gratitude for where you're at and what you have. Even if it's not what you fully want, you have to be grateful for it, because this is where you're at. And this present moment is the moment that gets you to the next one. So if you can't be grateful for it, you're not going to be grateful for the next thing.
Right.
So you have to have 1 foot in gratitude, and the next foot that's stuck up to take the next step, that's the foot that's up in desire. So you have to, like duality. I have to have gratitude for where I'm at and what I have, and desire my next thing. And when that foot that's in desire gets that manifestation, you could plop that down into gratitude for it, and your next foot can step up into the next desire. You don't have to be all like, only gratitude from where I'm at and I don't need anything else. Or like, I only want. F everything, fuck everything that's here. I don't want it. I don't like it. It's trash. It's not good enough for me. Those, you have to figure out how to marry them. You have to figure out how to have both.
I love the duality of the leg in the air and and down.
Well, think about it. If you had both feet down, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
But if you have both feet up, you're falling flat on your ass.
Yeah.
So it's a constant going with always being grounded in both, you know?
Yeah.
Sorry, do you want me to finish the steps?
Oh my gosh,
please,
yes. No. Please.
I'm like, cause we're going. It's just coming out of me. Okay, where was I at? What do I want to believe instead? If that's not my ultimate truth,
me, like, what do I want to believe instead?
So in the steps, it's like, if that's not my ultimate truth, what do I want to believe instead? That's where you bring in these like affirmations, right? And so this is the hard part, I would say. This is the like daily deciding your new beliefs, because your old beliefs have a lot of momentum and a lot of power and a lot of, you've chosen that day after day after day. I'm 39 now, so I've chosen my limiting beliefs for 39 years. So now I'm gonna choose something different that's like a baby. I have to really give it all my time, energy, and attention if it's gonna overpower the thing that I've been giving energy to for 39 years. So this is where people, I think, lose sight. They're like, that's too hard. I can't seem to believe it. I can't seem to get myself to believe that. I can't seem to shift my thought. It's like, you have to choose it every day. Even when you don't feel like it's working, you have to keep feeding this new baby, you know? And with that comes then action. So like, I think a huge part of manifestation is action that a lot of people don't realize. They're like, I'm just going to visualize and be in receiving mode for it, and I'm just gonna lay around in my bikini all day hoping and praying that the things fall in my lap. And it's like, you have to listen to your intuition, same way I did during the pandemic, to take that action that didn't feel fun to do, but I had to do. And you have to take this action. I'll pause actually and say meditation is huge for me, or journaling, because it gives me the space and the silence to hear what those action steps are that I should take, and not just like what I think, but like the silence to really feel like what the best intuitive action step is. And then you have to take that action, and you have to keep doing these steps over and over and over, and being a little delulu and living in the energy of like what I'm creating instead of what I can physically see in my reality. Because the reality that you have right now, you've already manifested. You've already manifested this based on your past thoughts and your actions and your past identity. I've already manifested this. So if I don't like what I see, I literally have to put blinders to this reality and like tune into the one I'm creating internally and let that eventually catch up and reflect to me outside. But if I'm constantly looking at evidence in my external world, I'm going to continue to manifest this reality over and over and over, which is the hard part, but it's possible.
It is hard, man.
I know.
It is hard.
I know you're talking to me. I feel like you're talking to me because I'm going through.
She's like,
She's like,
triggered,
yeah, it is
triggered.
I'm triggered. No, I'm just kidding.
Guys with your fans right now.
Yeah, we'll talk after the show. You doing, this work, that means you're also giving a lot of yourself to other people. You're spreading yourself very, very thin in a positive way, but still very thin. So for yourself, how are you able to stay grounded while showing up for others every single day?
Couple ways. Raise my prices.
And that's all we need.
Period.
We're getting that million,
I heard that.
The
That
more
is-
someone pays me, the more energy I can give that one person, and the less I feel like I financially have to give myself to other people to pay bills. You know what I mean? And so it frees up a lot of my time, and I can pour into those clients more. So
I appreciate how honest that response was.
That was great.
It makes a lot of sense, though.
That-
And you
Yes.
spread yourself thinner. I mean,
Yeah. Well, you can spread yourself, like in this business, like you're working for yourself, right? You can spread yourself as thin as you want.
Exactly.
So you have control. But again, that is a manifestation that you made for yourself.
and like my prices now are, I've had to work to these and create beliefs around feeling worthy enough and valuable enough to charge this price. You guys, when I tell you when I threw that flyer out on my phone and tossed my phone in 2020, my price was $55 for a session, because that's all I felt worthy of and all I believed I deserved at the time. And when someone paid me $55, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I immediately went to the calculator and was like, how many sessions do I have to do in order to provide for myself? I was like, 900. Okay, we quickly have to change this up. But not only that, like I had to start working on my identity to feel worthy of more, but also I was already burning myself out.
Right.
In the first week of doing sessions, I was like, this is exhausting. So that shifted and changed very quickly for me.
Well, for those listening who would like to, if they can afford you and they would like some help from you, what's the process like to be able to hire you as a coach?
Okay, so right now, you can hire me as a one-on-one coach. You can message me on Instagram or go to my website.
Which is, by the way?
My website is www.jamieleeruiz.com. My Instagram is at JamesLee4, the number 4. I love having conversations in my DMs, so please come talk to me. But I have other options besides one-on-one coaching. I have a lot of digital courses that you can purchase and like do on your own, self-paced, self-study that are like,
I've done them.
She's done them.
I've done them all.
They're very valuable. There's so much information and they're like, I teach it to you. It's all in there. And then every now and then I will offer different like virtual things. So just follow me on Instagram to stay up to date. Sometimes I'll do like a virtual Reiki healing, which she's come to and she loves. I just started to do Sacral Sundays, which is almost like a spiritual dance class for beginners, for non-dancers, where
We have to go.
Maybe I can do that one.
Oh my
Yes,
God, can you guys?
She can. Yes, for
Can
sure.
you guys come?
Are you
Yes.
speaking for me?
Yes,
right now?
I am.
Okay, yes,
Remember,
ma'am.
we're finishing each other's sentences pretty soon.
It's for beginners. Like it is not for the dance industry. Although if somebody in the dance industry wants to come, by all means. But it is for like maybe the mom who's disconnected from her body, the new mom who's disconnected from her body, or like someone who really wants to dance but feels too scared and like there's not a dance class out there that's truly for beginners. And there's like a spiritual component where we do like a little meditation at the beginning to release limiting beliefs that you have about even dancing and feeling sexy in your body and being in this room that we release before we even get to it.
And feeling comfortable being sexy. Like just because you're a mom or just because you're 40 plus years old, like it doesn't, you can be as sexy as you want at any age. And that's what I love about your class, because you can literally see how people feel when they're in there and they're not dancers.
Back on.
Yeah. And they're even just like touching your leg a certain way. Like people don't do that. They don't know that feels weird to them. Yeah.
Or they've been shamed their whole lives. And the real reason why I even wanted to do this is because a lot of manifestation is about embodiment, right? Like you have this one body, this one vessel in this lifetime that this body holds your mindset, it holds your soul, it holds your heart, it holds your emotions, it holds everything. So if you can't feel good and confident in this body, like that is who you're being and that is what you're attracting. So if you're uncomfortable walking through this world. The universe is like, she's uncomfortable. Let me give her more to be uncomfortable about. Or she doesn't seem like she's an embodiment of confidence. She doesn't seem like she's an embodiment of a millionaire. So I'm not going to give that to her, you know? So like, it's an embodiment practice, learning to feel good in your body and allowing those beliefs that you're creating to like ruminate through your entire body as you walk, as you stand, as you move, as you dance, all of it. It's like super important in the process. So I've recently brought that as an offer as well.
Right, I love that.
Thank you so much for being here today,
I know.
James.
I learned so much. I'm gonna have to like go home and digest with a big glass of wine after this.
She's gonna be a spiritual girly after all.
You may have got me there a little closer than I have been. So.
Yeah. Look, I opened the door, okay? I opened the door. I told her, I'm like, I am her witchy friend. And we are witchy together.
And then I come in and I'm like,
I know.
She will just push you
feel
straight
attacked, but in the best kind of way. So it's awesome. But yes, thank you so much for coming on. I think we all learned a lot from you. It was very enlightening, and I hope anyone who was listening and watching also took something from this as well. And hey, look her up. She said slide into her DMs, not in a creepy way though, guys. And
absolutely not.
Coaching. Guys, that is a wrap for this episode of Milk and Honeys. What's our tagline, Vanessa? You were so good at it last week.
We are serving the tea with all the right ingredients.
Boom! Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, follow us on our socials, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I'm like, I don't know where to look.
Anyway.
Bye.